Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam. Turn it up, turn it up. It's the Pancake and Power Slam show. Turn it up.
See how I'm looking now. I'm looking now. Thank y'all. Appreciate it. You should be able to hear me now, baby. Let's go. Come on in. Come on in, y'all. Share the link. There we go. Starting to bump those numbers up. Yeah, let's get those numbers bumped up, y'all. Share the link. Share the link. Share the link. Share the link. Let's go, King. You're good. Appreciate y'all, man. Greatly appreciate y'all. Let's go. We're going to have a lot of fun today, as always. Today, we're going to talk about, of course, we do psychology classes. I got a fun one. Everyone is fun, but we're going to do a fun one today, just like every other one. But we're talking about surprise, psychology of surprise. What psychology goes in surprise? And that's the reason why the Royal Rumble is many people's favorite PLE or pay-per-view of the year. And there's a reason why. I'm going to break that down. And also, I'm going to break down 5 things that must happen at every single Royal Rumble match. These 5 things are paramount for every single Royal Rumble match. And so I'm going to talk about that. So come on in. Let's share the link. Let's bump those numbers up. You know how we do it, man. We late night, lots of fun. And yeah, man, we're live, pal, every single week. Yes, we have been live every single week. We are live every single week. Might be some I've got some things in my head as far as pancakes and power slams that I'm actually pretty excited about. And yeah, I always write little notes. Yeah, should be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be I'm always about business. I'm always about stepping my game up in many ways and making adjustments, making shifts, making necessary things as far as growth. And I have a growth mindset, man. Big time growth mindset. And so I'm going to continue to grow. And it's having a growth mindset is definitely something that's not necessarily easy at first. It's not necessarily adaptable. But one thing that it is very much so is good for the soul. Very, very much good for the soul. So that I'm very, very excited about. So go ahead and share the link. And let's get into class, man. We're going to have a really, really good time as we do always. Without further ado, man, let's. Oh, yeah. Fun. Let's do that. There we go. Class is in session, y'all. We are going to have a great time as always. And of course, layout, boom, and boom. All right. So let me get my class presentation ready to rock and roll. Usually do, but let's bring it up here. Let's bring it on up. Let's bring it on up. All right. All right. No. Hold on a second, y'all. Appreciate y'all's patience. Bear with me. And of course, as always, these slides are available in full on my Patreon account, available to the patrons. And of course, as always, we have the Patreon. We have the Patreon after party every single time, every single week. We have the after party. Oh, there we go. Cool to the beans, y'all. Cool to the beans. Boom and up. Hold on. Hold on. All right. There we go. Nice. All right. Let's do this, y'all. All right. So we were talking about surprises. I was excited to talk about this from a standpoint of why do people enjoy the Royal Rumble? What is it about the Royal Rumble that's so enjoyable to people? And I'm going to talk about that. So I want to start off with, when it comes to the Royal Rumble, I want to start off with this. I want to start off with the fact that there are 5 hallmark parts of the Royal Rumble every single year. I mean, that makes it. I mean, from a traditional standpoint, what works? What works? These 5 things work. These 5 things work for every single Royal Rumble. These things are 5 things that people get excited about when it comes to Royal Rumble, and these are the things that the WWE should not let go of ever. They should not stop doing these things, and they have in many ways. And it really takes away what the Royal Rumble is all about. People aren't really happy about the Royal Rumble this year. Personally, I had no issue with Roman Reigns winning. I've talked about how preferably Roman Reigns chasing his way back to the title scene instead of winning the Royal Rumble would be my preference. Just slapping Royal Reigns and CM Punk, where my philosophy is if you can cut a promo on Raw to become world champion, or at least get into the world championship match, what the heck is the Royal Rumble for? Why do you have to go through 29 men and something that you can cut a promo on a Monday night and get a world title shot? You know what I mean? And so it's like, yes, main event WrestleMania, but how about you just take the easy way out, not have to go through 29 men, win the world championship on a random Raw, and then go and main event WrestleMania still as champion at this point. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why when I saw that it was Stephanie Vaquero against Raquel Rodriguez, I'm like, she went through all that at Royal Rumble just to have a title match the next night that she could have won, and she could have went into the Royal Rumble, went to the main event at WrestleMania as champion. So she didn't even have to go through all that. And so the logic doesn't make sense to me when it comes to the Royal Rumble and making these matches and booking these matches. And I'm going to show why, the 5 things that have the tried and true reasons and tried and true factors that really help and really causes that surprise element of the Royal Rumble. Do not lose the element of surprise when it comes to the Royal Rumble. That's what the Royal Rumble is all about. That's what it's all about. It's about the element of surprise. That's the reason why you have the countdown. The fans are waiting with bated breath at the next person that's coming in. And so you cannot lose these factors in the Royal Rumble. They should be featured every single year. All right, so let's start off with a quote as we do always. Tanya Luna, who's a published author when it comes to the element of surprise. She said, surprise is a brief emotion, but it opens a long window of attention. Very, very, very profound quote there. Very true. It's very true. Yes, even the briefest, one of the briefest emotions, as Paul Ekman would say, the person who really just popularized and just really caused the foundation from a psychological standpoint. He's a very he just died a few months ago. Very renowned psychologist. He was like in his 90s that he was able to. It's interesting. People like Ekman, who's a renowned psychologist when it comes to emotions, he lived to be 90. Aaron Beck, who is the founder of cognitive therapy, he lived to be 100. So I'm like, a lot of these psychologists, they live to be a long age. Me as a psychology professor and in the field of psychology and social sciences, is that a good sign for me that I'm going to have a long life? And so, it could be something to look forward to. But Ekman shows that. Ekman talks about how brief surprise is emotion. It coincides with startling. There is a distinction within surprising and startling. However, surprising, it causes a startle, albeit brief and temporary. However, as Luna would say, it opens a long window of emotion. It causes for us to really think about more and kind of dwell on things more. And I'll show why that's the case. All right, so Triple H was interviewed on the post show, and he discussed, post show things as Triple H does. Like I've talked about this many, many times. What's going on, y'all? Like I discussed this many, many times. Triple H talks about all things that's good in the world when it comes to the WWE. Nothing's ever wrong. Everything's just perfect. It's just amazing. It's just the best and the greatest, and this box office, and it's awesome. And it's like, despite that, he got booed by a Saudi crowd, which is interesting. It's like usually the Saudi crowd are usually just very traditional. I mean, from what we've seen in years past. And so it makes me wonder why Triple H was booed. And I wonder if there's many reasons why. If you go to the IWC as a frame of reference, which is not always the best idea to do, but if you go to the frame of reference, IWC is a frame of reference, they booed because they didn't like how the event turned out. They didn't like how the Royal Rumble turned out. They didn't like so many elements of the Royal Rumble, which we will talk about. This is the reason why these 5 elements are paramount when it comes to the Royal Rumble. But it makes me also wonder, I wonder if they were booing because Sami Zayn lost to Drew McIntyre. And if that's the case, that's fine. I mean, Drew McIntyre's the heel, and Triple H, unfortunately, being the fall guy and all that is it's really unfortunate. I mean, he got booed tremendously with the Cena thing too. And so, interestingly enough, Triple H being the fall guy and all this, hey, that's what happens when people are leaders. I mean, look at the New Testament. People were fall guys for the rebellion of their people all the time. So being the fall guy as a result of, poor creative decisions. That goes back to biblical days. So very normal, but at the same time, when you have the jurisdiction over these people, then you're not always off the hook. It can be justified, and it can be understandable more. So this element of surprise, very important. Triple H was on the post show. Triple H is going to talk about all things good in the world when it comes to the state of the WWE, which, hey, from a PR perspective, I get why he's doing that. Also, from a PR perspective, it's important from a pratfall effect perspective, psychologically, to, mention some things that you didn't necessarily weren't necessarily happy about. So those are important things too. But this is what he had to say about the Royal Rumble, and he throws out these superlatives that people are starting to be not happy about. People, he's like, new era and greatest Royal Rumble, all that stuff. The superlatives people just aren't really buying. And here you go. This is what he said about the Royal Rumble.
I think this might be one of my favorite Rumbles for a lot of reasons. I think the moment that you see here tonight where Roman Reigns and Liv Morgan winning the Royal Rumble, but in another sense, almost a passing of the torch moment for a lot of talent coming in the door. Obafemi, Javon, Trick, Royce Keys, Lola Vice, Saul Ruka, JC James, Kalani Jordan, Kiana James, Lash Legend, right? Like all of those folks coming in here, making a statement, putting the top people on notice that a new era is upon us and the future is bright. I would say if there's somebody that one person I had to pick, I think it would be Oba at this point. Only because it was so dominant in the moment. Javon's incredibly impressive. Trick, electrifies a crowd like very few can. Saul being in there now that long and standing in there with people like Charlotte Flair and the biggest people in the business. I thought she had an incredible night. And then Lash Legend, to me, very few times do you see women come into the division and be that dominant in a moment. And she had a showing that felt almost Kane-ish to me in a just standing out of being a woman that when you look at her, you think like, wow, a year, 2 years from now, is she going to be tearing through the roster?
There you go. For Ring the K's, they deserve the credit for that. So here's the thing when it comes to the Kane-ish piece. The Kane-ish piece, Kane had dominant showings, but never won a Royal Rumble. So yeah, that all that dominance for nothing. Although to me, I still think he should have won the 2001 Royal Rumble, the third one that Austin won. I think he should have won that year. But even with Kane, though, Kane is a Hall of Famer, well deserved, absolutely should be a Hall of Famer. But I think Kane was just, man, I think that he was undersold. I think he was underbooked in much of his career, man. I wasn't happy with, as a whole, with the way that Kane was booked. He never had a really good long spot for just him. And I wish that he would have been booked that way. So comparing Lash Legend to Kane, I understand it from a dominant perspective, but Kane was the fall guy in many feuds, man. He lost several feuds, and so if you throughout his entire career, by the way, there's no way he should have lost as many matches as he did in his career. And so if you're comparing Lash Legend to Kane, that's just basically saying, hey, I'm going to dominate the Royal Rumble, never win one, and be underbooked throughout my entire career. Yes, I'll win a world championship or two, but one of them was a night. It lost it the next night. And, it just, yeah, I mean, it just really, I wish that Kane was pushed a lot better than what he was. So comparing Lash Legend to Kane, I get it from a dominant perspective, but where does it end? And that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about too. So, with that being said, let's talk about 5 things that every Royal Rumble must include. The first thing is the actual winner of the Royal Rumble. The actual winner of the Royal Rumble, that is of course, who are you going to pick to win the Royal Rumble in order with the intention to be a career launcher, man. I mean, with the exception, like, here's the thing: if you think about the lineage of Royal Rumble winners, the ones that stand out the most are the ones who are come back from a return or are career launchers. Like the ones that Hogan won, back to back. It's like, okay, cool, sure, yeah, it was kind of a way to set him up, but even then, though, it wasn't it wasn't the stipulation. That wasn't a big a part of the Royal Rumble. Was the stipulation as far as main event of WrestleMania. So it was just, Duggan winning, Stud winning, Hogan winning. And so it was more, especially from a storyline perspective, and we'll get to that too, one of the Royal Rumbles. Well, both of them actually, really, with Hogan. So at least you used him in a way that was beneficial to future storylines, which I'm fine with too. But at the same time, like, who is winning? Who's actually going to win, and how is it going to be utilized for the betterment of future storylines? And really, though, the Royal, and I said this before, the Royal, and I keep saying it, the Royal Rumble should be used to launch careers of people who are on that echelon, on that precipice of reaching that top level. And Royal Rumble just it gives them that last nudge to really launch them into a staple main event career in the company. And so these are 3 people here that it worked tremendously for. Shawn Michaels won back-to-back. Austin won back-to-back. He ended up winning 3. And Batista won 2. Didn't win back-to-back, but he still won 2 Royal Rumbles. All 3 of these people were multiple Royal Rumble winners. All 3 of these people won their first Royal Rumble as they were ascending into that next step in their WWE career. Austin, of course, was just very popular, but at the same time, he was breaking into that main event status. A lot of his time before here was in the mid-card status. And if you think about the mid-card, think about that for a second. All 3 of these people actually had mid-card statuses before they became champion. Batista less, because he won the Royal Rumble and really started to do that. But even before that, though, I will say Evolution, when he was teaming up with Ric Flair. But all 3 of them really had mid-card moments, especially Michaels and Austin. And both of them were Intercontinental champions. If you think about the career, think about this for a second. This is 2026, and this is 95 and 99 or 98, 99. So 95, so the mid 90s and the end of the 90s, we're talking about the Intercontinental title scene comprised, like, it wasn't just like a pop in, pop out. The Intercontinental Championship scene comprised of Shawn Michaels in the mid 90s. In the late 90s was Steve Austin. That was the Intercontinental Championship scene, ladies and gentlemen. That goes to show the level of talent that was in the mid-card. Not even talking about the main event scene. The 2 people at the bottom, and Batista, but Austin and Michaels were in the mid-card scene, in the Intercontinental Championship scene, before winning the Royal Rumble and thrusting their careers to both be in the Hall of Fame at this point. Think about that for a second as far as where we're at now when it comes to the mid-card scene. These 2 people, fantastic in the ring, but their characters outshine their in-ring ability. and their in-ring ability, both of them were among the best in the entire business, especially Shawn Michaels. And Austin was great too. He played more of a ground and pound style, but before that, when he was, in the USWA and when he had those moments, before he came to the WWE, he was more of a WCW too. He was more of a less of a ground and pound, more of a hybrid. High. He wasn't a high flyer, but he was more. It was much more aerial than he was. Than he was. Yeah, exactly. He was much more aerial than he was in the WWE. So now we're talking about the modern day Intercontinental Championship scene. And this was the 90s Intercontinental Championship scene. That alone, ladies and gentlemen, should tell you where we are right now when it comes to level of talent. We've got a problem. Houston, we've got a problem. Because that alone shows you. Because when you're Intercontinental Champion and your mid-card scene is already in a point where you're not going to win, or you're not really going to push someone, or they're not ready, or they're not nowhere near ready, but they're still in the Intercontinental Championship scene. That just goes to show that you're not pushing your talent the way that they should. Because these two people, their characters were amazing, and Batista as well. Very, very infectious, charismatic characters. All three of these people, multiple Royal Rumble winners, and their first Royal Rumble really gave them the impetus to become staple main events and Hall of Fame. Two of them in the Hall of Fame, but Batista is just basically, I mean, he was supposed to be in the Hall of Fame one year, and then it got rescinded because of some things. And, he's Hall of Fame bound for sure. So that really goes to show the actual winner really should be intentional to thrust their career. Because like I said before, anybody could cut, like a main eventer could cut a promo on a Raw or a SmackDown and become in the world title scene. Drew McIntyre, well deserved to be champ, by the way. He just started attacking Cody Rhodes from what I saw, the socials that I saw, and at that time I was still, a few months ago, I was still under contract, and I saw the feud and stuff like that. As far as like socials, because I wouldn't even watch SmackDown then, but people informed me and things like that. I saw that Drew McIntyre, I was seeing like clips and stuff like that. He became champ. He got in the title hunt because he started attacking Cody Rhodes. Okay, cool. He's a main eventer. It should just take an attack because he's a main eventer. Anybody could do that. Any main eventer can do that and become a part of the world title scene by simply attacking someone in the back or cutting a promo. So when you're thinking about winning the Royal Rumble match, make it count, man. Make it showcase a talent that is on the precipice, still very popular, and need that last moment thrust to be in the main event scene. We need that back. Otherwise, you can just throw in Cody Rhodes back to back, throw in Edge return. You know what I mean? Like you're doing those things for the sake of, okay, we'll just throw this person in, and it's kind of like a reset to not really spend too much time building a wider story of someone winning the Royal Rumble who's at the precipice of becoming a main event star, and that person is chasing. It's legitimately a chase. That's the point of the Royal Rumble. It's a chase to that spot. You're chasing the title, and you have the main event at WrestleMania. You're awarded the main event at WrestleMania. Okay, so if it's a main event at WrestleMania for a title, okay, anybody could do that. That's a main event currently. So again, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like you got to go through 29 men as a main eventer. We could just cut a promo on a Raw. So make it count when it comes to the actual winner. Next, we have surprise entrance. Surprise entrance is something that needs to happen every single year at the Royal Rumble. You have to think about it this way. There's 30 men and 30 women in the Royal Rumble match. Every single year, like never get to the point, and we know this, like don't insult our intelligence. Of the 30 people every single year, there's really only a handful of people or less that actually has a shot and actually has a chance of winning the Royal Rumble match every year. This has been the same concept since its inception. I mean, we're like a third base to 40 years at this point that the Royal Rumble's been active at this point. That it's been active. It's been the same thing every single year when it comes to the number of people, 30 plus, the very beginning 20, most of the time 30, even 1 year 40, and the greatest Royal 50 or 40, whenever 40, 50 people, whatever it was more than 30. So at more than once, it was even more than the traditional 30 people. Out of all of those people every single year, you know good and well that there's only a handful of people that's going to win the Royal Rumble match. We know this. So what makes it exciting throughout the entire time? Not someone coming in and there's just a bunch of movement and kicking people and punching people and choking them in the corner and giving them a leg, and rinse and repeat. And it's like that's eventually it's like, okay, well, we'll just watch this for a little bit, but we're really looking forward to who's coming out next. And that's what makes the Royal Rumble exciting, because who's next? What surprise are we going to get? I mean, the WWE is full of booking for pops at this point. This is what I don't understand about the logic of WWE. So you oftentimes book for pops. You had two opportunities with both the men's and women's Royal Rumble. You had one opportunity for one night in two matches to literally book for pops, and you didn't do it. So every single Raw throughout the entire year, your focus is booking for pops. The one time you had the opportunity to just freely book for pops, you didn't book for pops, ladies and gentlemen. What in the world? What in the world is going on here? Surprise entrance, man. We know that Santino Marella is not going to win the Royal Rumble, but I would have loved to see him come in from TNA. I mean, that whole Cobra versus Saka when it comes with him and Foley. Foley lost like 100 pounds, man. Shout out to him. That would have okay. I think him and WWE don't mess around anymore, but still, shout out to Mick Foley for losing that much weight. I was going to say they could have done that again, but I don't think I think him and WWE aren't seeing eye to eye on certain things. But there's so many surprise guests, man. Every single year you could have brought somebody in. Dolph Ziggler would have been a cool entrance, a surprise entrance. The Godfathers came in before. That would have been cool. Farouk, JBL. Like there's JBL's been around clotheslining people all over the indies. Like, why don't you bring him in and start clotheslining people? Like, there's so many people that would have been really, really cool. I would be cool every single year, man. I'll be honest with you. I'll be cool if a third of the people were surprise entrants. Like every fourth or fifth person is a surprise entrance because that's the fun part of the Royal Rumble. Otherwise, you're just literally going to see people in the Royal Rumble that is just there for no reason, man. Like you put in both of the El Grande Americanos for a Spider-Man moment. You put in Iguana in there, but you didn't put in Finn. Like, what are we doing, man? Like when you're looking at this Saudi crowd, it's like, okay, like sure. Like these entrants are like, okay, I'm putting. I mean, hey, look, I used to be a big La Parka fan in the WWE, the original La Parka. I'm all for it, but I know that they have this AAA thing, and they want to bring some AAA people in there. Okay, yeah, they did that back in the day in WWE too. I understand, but at the same time, it's like every single year we need some surprise entrance because the fans are looking for who is at the other end of that countdown. And the more that they're let down by it being a person that's on the roster that you know that's not going to win, or someone who is further not a surprise, it just lets the overall mood down for the match. Constant waiting for the anticipation. You're having this level of anticipation, this level of expectation when it comes to the next person that's coming out, and it's like you're let down most of the time. And there was not any time for a pop. I mean, shout out to Powerhouse Hobbs, Royce Keys. Hey, get your bag, man. I'm all for it. Get your bag. But it's like, were you expecting him to get a pop in Saudi? Was that your surprise entrance? Was that your pop? Did you have that in your pop card? Like, nah. I used to call it the Pop Petty Cash Fund. Did you have that in your Pop Petty Cash Fund? What? I mean, again, all four Powerhouse Hobbs being there, all four Royce Keys being there. But it's like, man, you expected that to be the surprise entrance and get the pop. And people, I mean, he barely got any pop. And that already left a blow to his career. And so my hope is that he can I hope the WWE books him in a way that is dominant, that can rebound from that. But that wasn't a good surprise entrant. We need like old school legends, man. We need the people who, I remember when Booker T came out in the Royal Rumble when Matt Striker marked out. You know, it's a mark out moment, bro. I'm marking out. and moments like that, when Kevin Nash came back as a surprise entrant, when Chris Jericho came back as a surprise entrant, stuff like that sticks, man. That's the fun stuff, man, when people come back as surprises. And so stuff like that is really important. Let's talk about the element of surprise. Let's talk about why surprise is so important. A few things I want to talk about surprise. Surprise is an error signal our brains produce when something unexpected or misexpected happens. All right, it's a dopamine trigger that causes a person to stop and notice a stimulus. It's deemed one of the 7 universal emotions. I talked about Paul Ekman. Again, it causes people to startle, man. It brings that. It's temporary, but at the same time is it's temporary, but at the same time it can be lasting. And the reason why it can be lasting is it could create prominent what's called flashbulb memories, whether positive or negative. So flashbulb memories are memories that are vivid. That are vivid. You remember flashbulb memories. You remember when tragic moments happen. You remember when you graduated. You remember what birth of children. You remember these vivid memories in your head. That happened. oftentimes when it comes to shock value, vivid memories. And so when we think about shock, I just gave you examples of the Royal Rumble. I gave you examples in the Royal Rumble when it comes to surprises, when it comes to shock factor. The Booker T Royal Rumble thing was over a decade ago. And we still remember that. That's a flashbulb memory. And so those are the things that we need to have when it comes to Royal Rumble. Surprise entrants give you that. But ladies and gentlemen, this is what we got. We got Brie Mode coming back, ladies and gentlemen. And hey, look, fun, exciting when it comes to Brie Bella. She's been gone for a while. But didn't Nikki Bella just turn heel on Stephanie Vaquer just like a few months ago? And now Brie Bella comes back and they're embracing, and we just going, again, Men in Black. A lot of this booking is just Men in Black. Now Nikki Bella comes back, Brie Bella comes back, and now they're embracing, and now they're baby faces again. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, they're embracing, and everybody loves the Bellas again. What are we doing, man? Just all of these loose ends when it comes to booking. This is the surprise entrant. We need more moments where we have big pop surprise entrants of legends, man. That's what's going to cause the narrative of the Royal Rumble to maintain excitement, to maintain interest. If you keep bringing in these current roster members and people like Brie Bella, which again, surprise entrant, yes, I'll give that to you. But if what we're having right now is Brie Bella as a surprise entrant and that's it, you're not really doing a good job with keeping the pace of the Royal Rumble from a fan's perspective. You're just giving them a bunch of spots, a bunch of people who are currently on the roster, and they're just going to have moments where they're just kicking people and choking them in the corner and giving them some punches, and that's it. And that's the type of stuff that we really need to understand when it comes to the art of surprise entrance. We need constant yearly surprise entrance. Go back to the Legends well. Again, this is another thing. Same thing with the Pops. You go back to the Legends well with the random Royal Rumble or a random moment or a random opportunity to just, pop a number for a PLE, but you don't go to the Legends well for the Royal Rumble, and the Royal Rumble is when you should go to the Legends well. So the Royal Rumble is when you should book for the Pops, and the Royal Rumble is where you should go to the Legends well, and you do that in times outside of the Royal Rumble. Doesn't make any logical sense to me whatsoever. More surprise entrance. Somewhat, it'd have been really interesting if Maven, would have been. Maven's doing his thing, as far as YouTube, that would have been really cool. Stuff like that, man. Stuff like that, to me, that would have had much more buzz than any of these surprise entrants that we saw in the Royal Rumble. Next, we have face-offs and stare-downs, man. Face-offs and stare-downs is something that we have been seeing throughout the entirety of the Royal Rumble, and that's something that really, really can be utilized in such a major, major way, man, and make it count. Make it count. This year, we had the Obafemi Brock Lesnar stare down that got, a couple of times people started jumping on them. But I'm like, okay, why are people jumping on them? Okay. Let them beat each other up and beat each other to a pulp so they can become weak and then throw them out. So like, why are you stopping them from beating up each other? That didn't make sense. I do like the fact that they're teasing it in some way. But at the same time, the way that Brock Lesnar just, eliminated Obafemi, bad idea, man. It wasn't even anything with it. That you really could have done a major face-off when it comes to those people. I wouldn't have had no issue at all with them being the Final Four. No issue whatsoever with those two of those, both of them being the Final Four, and then they do the face-off. Both of them, take another person down, take the other two down. That's in the match. They're laying down, they're laid out, and then what you do is you have the big old stare down, and then all of a sudden, Obafemi, boom, Brock Lesnar, boom, 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 boom. They both eliminate each other. And that is going to set you up, and that's going to create a really interesting breadcrumb and cliffhanger and anticipation to a possible match at WrestleMania. I said this before, man. Obafemi, since and because what that could have done is, especially since he was eliminated by Brock Lesnar and made no sense at all of the logic of why he was eliminated the way he did. They missed the ball as far as just the face-off that really, really could have happened effectively with Brock Lesnar and Obafemi. Speaking of effectively, this face-off was the face-off of the Royal Rumble. This is one of the most popular face-offs in the history of Royal Rumble. It meant something, man. 1990 Royal Rumble, you had these two people from their own worlds, their own world, their own galaxies that they're the kings of. They're the kings of this galaxy. You have Hulk Hogan, who's the king of the Hulkamaniacs. You have the Ultimate Warrior, who is the king of the Warriors, and you have Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, two superheroes coming to a point where these worlds, these separate worlds, are colliding, man. That's the type of stuff that creates that anticipation that goes beyond that. I mean, you're talking about suspending disbelief. This type of energy that was involved in the stare down between Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior, man, you could have cut it with a knife. That's how thick that energy was, man. And we need face-offs like that. The face-off between Brock and Oba, yes, it was cool. Yes, it was exciting, man. You got to let that cook, man. You got to let that simmer. You didn't really give it opportunity to simmer, and you should have done that, man. Face-offs are so important when it comes to the effectiveness of future storylines. And that's the thing, man. This type of stuff really matters because, again, you have 30 people in the Royal Rumble. Only a chunk of them are actually going to win the Royal Rumble. So what do you do and how do you utilize the rest of the people? I'm good friends with Rico Constantino. He came on my show a few years back, several years ago now, and he was giving us the behind the wall, behind the veil of what's up? It's been a while. What's going on? And he was giving us the behind the veil and like secrets of the Royal Rumble as far as entrances and what the referee is doing and how the referees on the outside are communicating with people too, as far as giving them the time and it's time to go and positioning themselves. People, go check that out. It was really good. It was a really, really good episode with Rico Constantino about the Royal Rumble. And so even in that time, we know that people are going to be used as fillers throughout the entire Royal Rumble. So why don't you make it count when it comes to people and storylines that can be built from it? Make that a thing. You want to talk about a reset when it comes to WrestleMania storylines? The Royal Rumble literally can be used every single year as a launch pad to several storylines. And that goes into number 4. Surprise turn and tease animosity eliminations. This is so big and so important when it comes to Royal Rumble. Again, you have 30 people in the Royal Rumble. You can spend several opportunities to set up feuds. I've been doing reference points all class. Here's a reference point right here. Look at Hogan's face right there. You had Sid Justice come in. 1992. This is the year that Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble. These are the last 3 people in the 1992 Royal Rumble. And Hogan and is trying to get Flair out. Sid Justice comes behind Hogan, throws that joker out, man. Throws that joker out. And interestingly enough, as you see right here, at that time, people were over Hogan, and you saw people celebrate. I remember watching that. Look at all these. This person's in shock. This person's celebrating. This person back here is celebrating too. And I remember seeing that when I was back in 1992 when I was a kid. And man, I was surprised by how so many people was celebrating. Although Sid was a babyface at that time, he ended up turning. But again, goes to my point. This is a surprise turn. This is a tease animosity elimination. You had Sid getting very, very upset with Hulk Hogan. And I always thought, this is another thing I thought about this whole thing. Hogan was the heel in all this. He was the biggest heel of this moment here, because you had Ric Flair coming from behind, one of the first people to be in the Royal Rumble this year. And he coming from behind throughout the entire Royal Rumble. You had these 3 left. You had Sid eliminating Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, crying like a baby because he got eliminated, just like 28 other people that time. And so Hogan, he slaps the apron, he gets upset, and he's shocked. He does the typical Hulk Hogan, not like this, brother. And look how shocked he is. And yes, I understand. Hogan's shocked because he got eliminated in the Royal Rumble. Okay, I get it. But no, that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. Hogan, in his typical subtle heel fashion, I remember he did this to the Ultimate Warrior too, as far as like teasing a turn. And I'm like, man, there was some moments where Hogan like went full on heel that it was like right in front of people's eyes. But he never turned. He grabbed Sid's arm. The dude simply eliminated him. Like, that's the whole point of the match, is to eliminate everybody until you're the last person in the match. Sid took advantage of a vulnerable moment that Hulk Hogan had, and he eliminated him. He was supposed to. He's surprised. What do you expect? Like, Sid not eliminate him? Because guess what? If Sid would have eliminated Ric Flair and you were behind Sid, you would have eliminated Sid. So now he's surprised as if, Sid isn't supposed to eliminate him. So what does Hogan do? He pulls Sid's arm like toward him. And like, what a heelish move that Hogan did, man. That was just straight up heel mode. And that caused Ric Flair to throw Sid out. And Ric Flair won the match. But guess what? In all this, Sid is the heel out of this, and this leads to a Hogan and Sid WrestleMania match. It's Sid's the heel. I'm like, man, I would have been upset too. I would have turned on Hogan too if this whole match was about eliminating everybody except for yourself, and I eliminated you, which I'm supposed to do in this match. You get upset and cry in shock. Why are you in shock? I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in this match. You're pulling my arm. You cost me a world championship match. Or actually, in 92 was actually for the title. So you cost me a world championship. It wasn't even a world championship match at WrestleMania. It was for the actual world championship. So you cost me the title. Why in the world would I want to be your friend? We're not cool anymore. Like, we're not boys anymore. If you're pulling my arm outside and already eliminated. And for some odd reason, Sid's the heel out of all this. Nah, man, Sid ain't no heel from this. Sid's the baby face, ladies and gentlemen, because I would have turned on whoever did that to me too. I did my job. You pulled my arm and cost me the world championship, the WWE championship. No way. But guess what, man? This was a surprise tease. And Sid did his thing. Like, okay, I mean, what's your problem? I eliminated you. This moment was great, man. This is a great moment in the history of the Royal Rumble. As far as Sid was like, oh, okay. It's like, what's the problem? I eliminated you. I'm supposed to. Sid's like, Hogan's like surprised, and look at him. He's surprised. He's looking around. He's looking for his Hulkamaniacs to save the day. I mean, it's like, man, you got eliminated, dude. Like, hey, go in the back and hope for a better day next time, man. But he didn't do that. He pulled Sid's arm. And so, yeah, this was a really, really good animosity, surprise term / tease animosity elimination between the two. This was great, man. We need more like that when it comes. You did Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, but a couple things. One, if that's leading to a Charlotte Alexa match at WrestleMania, count me out. I have no interest in that. And two, Charlotte played on it like it was an accident. It wasn't like Sid didn't make it an accident. Like Sid was like, he looked at Hogan like, I did it. What you gonna do? Like, I did it on purpose. I have no regret for what I just did, Hulk Hogan. Like, this, you got to watch that the end of that Royal Rumble again, man. That whole thing was hilarious. Like, Sid looked at Hogan like, I have no regrets. I'm not. Are you expecting me to apologize? Like, why are you looking to your Hulkamaniacs? What they gonna do? I eliminated you. I was supposed to. Now, like, I have a better chance of becoming the WWE champion because I eliminated you. That's what I'm supposed to do. What are you going to do? Eliminate Flair, and then what then? You're going to try to eliminate me. So I beat you to it. So it was great, man. It was a great thing. That's the type of stuff that works when it comes to the dynamic of the Royal Rumble. And lastly, we have good showings. Good showings are really important when it comes to things like Iron Man. That's a big thing that works when it comes to a good showing. Final Four is also good when it comes to showings. Even runner-up, man. This is one thing that WWE did really well. They did a couple things well. The Royal Rumble, Last Legend, they did a really good job with that too, with showing her too. But Obafemi, they did fantastic. Minus the weird Brock elimination, which I don't understand. But the beginning of the Royal Rumble, well done, man. Well done. WWE gets a clap for that. And I agree with Triple H when it comes to Obafemi being the MVP of the Royal Rumble. Absolutely 100% true. And I think the fact that he kept bringing, like, eliminating people, yes, do it. Great showing. Do this money. I don't even watch NXT, and I haven't watched NXT in years. And again, only by socials and what people talk. There's people on my Patreon account at the after party who fills me in with NXT stuff. But there's three people. I've said this on my Patreon for a while. I couldn't tell you 98% of who's on NXT right now. But even with knowing a little bit about NXT when it comes to the socials and what I've seen, there's three people who stand out to me as far as absolute money makers when it comes to charisma and when it comes to bringing that casual audience to the product that you really can strap rockets on all three of these people for and it could really cause a casual resurgence in the product. He's one of them. I've always thought that this guy's money, man. The march, to the ring, the stands, the pose, the whole deal, man. Dude is absolute money. Big fan of Obafemi. The other one is Sol Ruka. I think Sol Ruka is fantastic. She had a really good showing too. I've always liked. She's always had that. There was always a white meat baby face element to her that traditional or traditional wrestling really benefited from, and modern day wrestling don't have much of. And we need that dynamic again. Everything's just so gray. Like if you're booking so gray, everything's gray. Like it's just a canvas full of gray. There's no contrast. You book so gray that you don't even notice the black and white that's in front of you because everything's just gray, man. It's gray. It's like a big smeared background of gray. It's like a big gray canvas. There's no black and white. There's no contrast that stands out. This part stands out from this part. But if it's just a big gray canvas, nothing stands out if everything's booked gray. That's the reason why baby faces and heels matter, because it creates contrast. And contrast pulls out elements of things that people notice. But if everything's just gray, people don't notice because everything's just gray. And Obafemi and Sol Ruka, the other person's Trick Williams, which I think he's being miscast right now. He has one of the best and one of the biggest charisma magnets on the entire company, and he's booked as a heel. You got fans chanting. You have fans having a chant every single time he comes out. Fans like him. Fans are interested in him. Fans are chanting. Fans have a saying. Fans are into his music. He's got a bop. But you're booking him as a heel. That's miscast, man. Book the man as a face. Let him cook, man. And stuff like that, bad ideas. If you think about it, man, WWE really could have made this whole 22. You want to talk about new era, man. WWE could have made this whole thing just hit the reset button like crazy, man. You could have had Obafemi win the Men's Royal Rumble. Sol Ruka's not caught up, I don't think. I mean, she's still in NXT as far as I know. I don't know if that's a call-up because it was a good showing. I would give Sol Ruka a little bit more time as far as just – but I think the way that they booked her was good. But I mean, even if she were to surprise stuff like that, man, Obafemi winning the Royal Rumble I would have been fine with. I mean, here's the thing: there's certain people who make perfect sense to be pushed to the moon. Make perfect sense to be pushed to the moon. Obafemi's one of those people. Sol Ruka has that white meat babyface feel to her. So her coming from behind and climbing her way up would be good. I'd be totally fine with some really, really good feuds. I mean, heck, since Natty's a heel now, do Natty versus Sol Ruka. Natty is having an issue with people coming in, with newcomers coming in and trying to take her spot. I mean, easy booking, easy writing. Having trouble with people taking her spot. And then she attacks Sol Ruka because One person down is one less person to take my spot. There you go. Sol Ruka versus Natty at WrestleMania. Boom. There you go. Sol Ruka wins. Sol Ruka, Natty could have an amazing match, amazing showing against Sol Ruka. It would work. Sol Ruka would win. There you go. Boom. Do it. Absolutely. You can have some really good feuds with Sol Ruka, and you can have Sol Ruka win the Royal Rumble next year. If you book her really well this year, as far as a white meat baby face, she has that soul snatcher, fantastic move that can come out of nowhere. She has it, man. She has it. Trick Williams as well. If you had Trick Williams win the Elimination Chamber, I wouldn't have had an issue with it. I won't have an issue with it, because if you really want to set the tone for the new era, like Triple H said, okay, we'll have the new era win the Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber then. Put your money where your mouth is. Have the new era be the new era. You have a lot of people in the old guard, and I'm fine with the old guard. You have people in the old guard that will be willing and that is available to really boost up these new people, this new guard and this new wave of talent. Obafemi has it, man. They did a good job with that. These Iron Man, these Final Four, these multiple eliminations work. But at the same time, here's the problem what I have with this is the reason why I don't necessarily, I don't know that he beat up the War Raiders the next day, but okay, but here's my problem with that. This is why I'm not going to put my stock in this over Femi surge right now. They did the same thing a few years ago with Shayna Baszler. She ransacked and ran rampant into the Royal Rumble. Had I think still tied with the most eliminations in one match. She ran through the Elimination Chamber, and throughout dominant Royal Rumble showing, throughout running through the Elimination Chamber, she's released. She's not even in the WWE anymore. They had this monster push for Shayna Baszler for nothing. Didn't do nothing, ladies and gentlemen. So just because you're pushing someone right now doesn't mean that they got a long game. They got a long game for them. They don't. They haven't been. And so my hope is they don't fumble the ball on Obafemi. Because guess who they fumbled the ball with? Who was the Iron Man last year? Was this guy, Penta. This guy was the Iron Man of 2025. A year later, what does he have to show for it? A couple opportunities to win the Intercontinental Championship that failed. Ins and outs of feuds that really led to nothing. And a year later, he has nothing to show for being the Iron Man of the Royal Rumble last year. So that's the reason why I'm not gonna put my eggs in that basket yet, as far as Obafemi being utilized the right way. He absolutely should, without a doubt. But is he? I'm not gonna hold my breath on that. What should happen is this guy right here, since he got eliminated by Brock Lesnar, he should go through the vision. The whole point of Obafemi between now and WrestleMania is he's trying to get revenge on being eliminated by Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's not there. He's not showing up. He's purposely not showing up. Paul Heyman can easily say his work here is done. He did what he was supposed to do. He had an opportunity to, win the main event WrestleMania. He wasn't able to succeed that, but what he was able to do was he was able to defeat Obafemi. And so it'll be easy. It'll be a really interesting and fascinating feud if Paul Heyman basically says Brock Lesnar eliminated Obafemi and his work there was done. He wanted to, of course, as everybody wants to do is win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania, but Brock Lesnar has won the Royal Rumble before. Brock Lesnar has main evented WrestleMania before, and Brock Lesnar wanted to make sure that Obafemi will not win the Royal Rumble and main event WrestleMania. Easy money. Easy money. And then what you do is you have Obafemi go on a terror spree to take out the Vision. You feud you take out Austin Theory. That's a match right there. You have a feud with Braun Breaker. You have a feud with Bronson Reed. On your way, since you defeated, or not even a feud, you just defeat all of them. If there's anybody who can go through the Vision and defeat all of them, it would be Obafemi. And you can even put Logan Paul out. He's a member-ish, but he doesn't even have to be a part of that. Logan Paul could easily say, yeah, I see what they're doing with Obafemi. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I can't help but have a show. Like, you can easily do stuff like that. And then what you do is you have Paul Heyman, who's cutting a promo of now, since he's defeated Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and Austin Theory, he brings Obafemi out and he says, you know what I'm realizing is better to work together than to work apart, and I want to invite you, Obafemi, to become a member of the Vision. That was your initiation. You ran through the gauntlet, and now we realized that it's better to be with Obafemi than without Obafemi. I'm inviting you. I'm extending an offer for you to join the Vision. Obafemi thinks about it. He grabs Paul Heyman, because this is a segment with just Oba and Paul Heyman. This is close to WrestleMania. And then guess what? Brock Lesnar comes out, F5's Obafemi, and then there you go. Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, WrestleMania, protects Brock Lesnar because it gives him momentum for Obafemi to win, to take the pin. I mean, to give the pin as far as defeating Brock Lesnar. There's your opportunity for Obafemi to be pushed and ascended in a way that would make him the next face of the WWE. Because there's a story to it now, ladies and gentlemen. He's not just coming around and being booked to win matches. And you better not let Obafemi go into some big catch-as-catch-can back and forth match with someone like Dominic Mysterio. Like, don't do it, man. That would be to the demise of his character. That would be horrible. But once again, this guy right here has nothing to show for being the Iron Man of the Royal Rumble. So make Obafemi count. Otherwise, we'll just get another opportunity. We'll just get another instance where next year we'll look at Penta, we'll look at Oba, and we're like, oh, what did I got to show for it? You got a chance to make this work. Don't fumble it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, those are the 5 things. Of course, the after party class slides, patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. We are heading over there. Class, lots of fun. Really, really appreciate everything that comes with the love that comes with y'all as fans of the show, man. And I really, really appreciate it every single week. Lots of fun. Tons of fun every single week. And I really, really appreciate every single time you hang out with me. Have a good time every single week. And I appreciate the constant the constant support every single week, man. Lots of fun. Again, man, I really enjoy these classes, man. Really enjoy these classes. If you want the class slides, go to patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. We about to hang out when it comes to the after party. We'll be on there for a little bit and we're gonna have a good time, man. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for all your love on the chat. Very, very much appreciated, man. Again, share the link, like, share, subscribe. Okay, for as many people throughout the platforms that I'm looking at right now that is on live right now. Y'all are live as late as it is. So if y'all going to spend y'all's time and devote y'all's time to be here live, and we're live throughout the entire show, which I appreciate, show your love, like, share, subscribe, share this video, because here's the thing, man. I grow when you believe in me, and when you invest your time, effort, and dollars in the business called Pancakes and Power Slams. I will be pushed forward. I will be exposed to other people. I will be shown other people when you, the fan, do your part in letting people know about the show. All right? So go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and comment. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. Share the link. All that boosts up the algorithms for more people who don't know about Pancakes and Power Slams to know. All right? Let's get that subscriber count up. Let's get those likes up. And I appreciate your time every single week. All right, until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.